In the shadowy depths of the verdant forest, where ancient trees twisted skyward like silent sentinels, a small unit of scouts found themselves ensnared in a deadly trap. The dense undergrowth offered little sanctuary as enemy forces closed in, their movements muffled but unmistakably methodical. The air was thick with tension, the scent of damp earth mingling with the acrid bite of spent gunpowder. Underneath the canopy, the soft murmur of the forest was replaced by the sharp whispers of urgency and fear. Captain Elena Voss crouched behind a fallen log, her keen eyes scanning the shifting shadows. She was the embodiment of composure, her dark hair slicked back, her uniform dirt-streaked but meticulously arranged. Known among her peers as a brilliant strategist with an uncanny ability to remain calm under pressure, Elena's reputation was a double-edged sword. While many admired her innovative battlefield tactics, certain commanders viewed her unconventional methods with skepticism, questioning whether her brilliance masked recklessness. The situation was dire. The scout unit, numbering barely 50, had been sent deep into enemy territory to gather intelligence on troop movements. Instead, they had walked into an ambush. Supplies were running low, ration packs half empty, water scarce, and their communications gear was dead, the antenna shattered in the initial volley of gunfire. The forest that once promised concealment now felt like a cage tightening around them. Elena's mind raced as she assessed the grim reality. The enemy was methodical, encircling them with a precision that spoke of thorough planning. Radio silence meant no reinforcements were coming anytime soon, and the dense canopy rendered aerial reconnaissance useless. Each passing minute increased the risk of being overrun. Yet, surrender was not an option. The scouts depended on her not just for survival, but for a way out. She moved swiftly to the unit's center, where the remaining soldiers huddled behind makeshift barricades. Her voice, calm and steady, cut through the tension like a blade. Listen up. Our position is compromised, but not hopeless. We need to rethink our approach. Huddling here won't save us. The men and women exchanged wary glances, their exhaustion evident, but a spark of hope flickered in their eyes at her words. Elena's reputation had been forged on moments like this, when chaos threatened to overwhelm, and a single clear mind had to chart a path through uncertainty. She knelt, spreading a tattered map across a rock, its edges worn from use. The terrain was labyrinthine, a maze of ridges, ravines, and thick forest that could be both a curse and a weapon. Her fingers traced the contours, seeking a strategy that would exploit the environment rather than fall victim to it. Enemy forces expect us to break straight through, she explained, but the forest offers us something they don't see, a chance to vanish, to split their focus. Her gaze flicked from the map to the faces before her. We still have the advantage of knowledge. We know this terrain better than they do. We'll use it. Doubt lingered among some of the scouts. Lieutenant Harris, a seasoned officer with a rigid adherence to protocol, frowned. Captain, with our supplies dwindling and no comms, we can't afford risky maneuvers. The higher-ups will send help once they realize we're missing. We should hold position and wait. Elena met his gaze evenly. Waiting is a death sentence. The enemy's tightening noose won't loosen. We need to act, and act decisively. Hesitation will cost us lives. Her tone was firm but not dismissive, she understood his caution but refused to let fear dictate their fate. The forest around them seemed to close in, the canopy dimming the fading daylight. Shadows lengthened, and the distant crack of branches hinted at enemy patrols drawing nearer. Elena's mind shifted gears, piecing together a plan that balanced boldness with prudence. She envisioned dividing their small force into agile teams, each exploiting different paths through the underbrush, creating confusion and forcing the enemy to spread thin. It was a gamble, but one born of necessity. She stood, the map folded under her arm, and addressed the unit once more. We move at first light. Tonight, we prepare. Gather what you can, rest what little you can, and be ready to adapt. This forest is our ally if we learn to read it right. Her words carried weight, a beacon in the encroaching darkness. As the soldiers dispersed to ready themselves, Elena lingered, her gaze drifting upward to the skeletal outlines of towering trees. Each branch, each shadow held secrets, paths untaken, dangers unseen. She thought back to her training, to the countless hours spent studying terrain analysis and unconventional warfare. This moment was the crucible where theory met reality. Her thoughts were interrupted by a soft rustle nearby. Private Lila Chin emerged from the underbrush, her face streaked with dirt but resolute. Captain, scouts report enemy patrols moving to the east flank. They're setting up listening posts. Lila's voice was low but urgent. Elena nodded, processing the information swiftly. Good intel. That flank will be critical. We'll send a small team to neutralize them before dawn. It'll buy us time to execute the main maneuver. She placed a steady hand on Lila's shoulder. Thank you. Keep your eyes sharp. Night deepened, and the forest sounds grew louder, the distant hoot of an owl, the snapping of twigs underfoot, the faint murmur of the river far below. Around a small fire, Elena reviewed her mental map again, committing routes and contingencies to memory. Her mind was a whirlwind of scenarios, each branching into new possibilities. Despite the pressure, a quiet confidence settled over her. She knew the risks, but she also knew the strength of her team and the power of strategy. The forest was no longer just an obstacle, it was a puzzle to solve, a partner in survival. As the first hints of dawn painted the sky in muted shades of gray, Elena prepared to lead her unit into the unknown. The enemy thought they had trapped a small group of scouts, but they had underestimated the resolve and ingenuity of Captain Elena Voss. The coming hours would test every ounce of her skill and courage, but she was ready to turn the tide. The battle for survival had begun. As dawn's pale light filtered through the thick canopy of the verdant forest, Captain Elena Voss gathered her unit with quiet urgency. The night's preparations had been grueling but necessary, exhaustion clung to the soldiers like a second skin, yet their eyes gleamed with the fragile hope Elena had ignited. The forest around them seemed to hold its breath, the usual chorus of birdsong conspicuously absent, as if nature itself awaited the unfolding of the day's perilous gambit. Elena's plan was bold, bordering on audacious. She intended to fracture the enemy's encirclement not through brute force, but by exploiting the forest's labyrinthine layout and sowing confusion among their ranks. The strategy called for dividing her unit into smaller, agile teams, each tasked with specific objectives designed to disrupt the enemy's cohesion. It was a delicate dance, one that demanded flawless timing and unwavering trust. She addressed the assembled soldiers, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. Our objective is to break through the encirclement by using the forest against them. Team Alpha will flank the eastern patrols and neutralize their listening posts. Team Bravo will create diversionary noise near the southern ridge, drawing enemy forces away from our main path. The rest of us will move through the western ravine, exploiting the chaos to slip past their lines. Lieutenant Harris, who had questioned her resolve the previous day, stepped forward, his skepticism tempered by the dire circumstances. Captain, splitting our forces increases risk. If one team is compromised, it could unravel the entire operation. Elena met his gaze with unyielding resolve. I understand the risk, Lieutenant. But staying together only makes us a larger, easier target. Our strength lies in unpredictability and speed. Trust in the terrain, trust in each other. The teams dispersed, moving silently through the thick underbrush. Elena led the main contingent through the western ravine, her senses heightened to every sound and movement. The forest was both ally and adversary, its shadows provided cover, but its tangled roots threatened to betray them with every misstep. As they advanced, Elena mentally ran through the plan's variables. The success hinged on precise coordination, any delay or miscommunication could spell disaster. She relied heavily on prearranged signals, whistles, subtle hand gestures, and timed movements, to maintain cohesion without revealing their positions. Meanwhile, Team Alpha moved toward the eastern flank, their mission to dismantle enemy listening posts. Elena recalled the intelligence Private Lila Chen had gathered. The patrols had established a network of makeshift outposts, designed to intercept any attempts to call for reinforcements. Neutralizing these was critical to maintain radio silence and prevent the enemy from anticipating their maneuver. Elena's comms were silent, a deliberate choice to avoid interception. Instead, she trusted her teams to execute their roles with precision. Hours passed in tense silence, broken only by the faint rustle of leaves and the distant echoes of movement. Suddenly, a sharp whistle pierced the quiet, a signal from Team Alpha. Elena's heart quickened. The eastern patrols were engaged. From her vantage point, she observed faint plumes of smoke rising near the tree line. Team Alpha had struck, sabotaging enemy equipment and sowing chaos. The enemy's response was swift, gunfire crackling through the undergrowth, but the scouts' intimate knowledge of the terrain gave them the upper hand. They vanished into the forest's depths before the enemy could mount an effective counterattack. Elena seized the moment. Team Bravo, commence diversion, she whispered into the shadows. A chorus of snaps and thuds erupted to the south, mimicking the sounds of a larger force. The enemy, deceived by the ruse, shifted their attention and troops toward the southern ridge, fracturing their formation. The forest was alive with movement, the enemy scrambling to respond to the multiple threats. Elena's main force pressed forward through the western ravine, moving swiftly and silently. The tension was palpable, every snap of a twig, every distant shout could herald disaster. Midway through the ravine, Elena encountered a narrow stone outcrop overlooking a small clearing. She paused, scanning the area with a practiced eye. Enemy soldiers patrolled below, their silhouettes stark against the morning light. A direct confrontation would be costly. Elena considered her options. The plan called for stealth, but sometimes adaptability was key. She signaled a halt to her unit and motioned for 2 scouts to flank the patrol silently. Using the dense foliage as cover, the flanking team moved with deadly precision, neutralizing the sentries without raising alarm. The path cleared, the main body slipped past the clearing and deeper into enemy territory. Elena's mind raced with calculations, time, distance, and the enemy's likely responses. She adjusted their pace, balancing speed with caution. Suddenly, a distant explosion shattered the fragile calm. Elena's heart pounded. It was coming from the southern ridge, the site of Team Bravo's diversion. The enemy was reacting, sending reinforcements to investigate. The forest erupted into chaos. Gunfire echoed through the trees, mingling with shouted orders and the thud of boots. Elena's unit pressed on, their mission now a desperate race against time. Amidst the turmoil, Elena's leadership shone brightest. She moved with purpose, issuing orders with clarity and calm that steadied her soldiers' nerves. When a scout faltered, she was there to steady them. When hesitation threatened to take hold, her voice cut through doubt. Her tactical genius was evident in every move, using the forest's natural cover, exploiting enemy missteps, and anticipating their reactions. She was not merely reacting to the battlefield, she was shaping it, turning the enemy's strengths against them. Hours later, the encirclement began to falter. The enemy's lines, stretched thin and confused, wavered under the pressure of the multifaceted assault. Elena's unit had transformed from prey to predator, striking with precision and then melting back into the forest's embrace. Despite the mounting danger, Elena's resolve never wavered. She coordinated the final phase of the plan, a coordinated push through the enemy's weakened eastern flank. The scouts moved as one, a silent storm unleashed upon the disoriented foes. The breakthrough was a testament to Elena's meticulous planning and adaptive thinking. The unit surged forward, breaking the enemy's grip and opening a path to safety. The balance of the battle shifted dramatically, the forest that had once threatened to entrap them now their shield and sword. As the sun climbed higher, filtering through the canopy in golden beams, Elena allowed herself a brief moment to breathe. The operation was far from over, but the tide had turned. Her gamble had paid off, a bold testament to leadership forged in the crucible of adversity. Yet beneath the triumph, Elena remained vigilant. The enemy was far from defeated, and the forest held many secrets still. Each step forward was fraught with peril, demanding constant adaptation and unyielding courage. Her mind already turned to what lay ahead, the challenges to come, the lives depending on her decisions. Elena Voss was no stranger to risk, and in this moment, she embraced it fully, ready to lead her unit through whatever storms awaited beyond the trees. The aftermath of the Verdant Forest engagement unfolded beneath a cloud of mixed emotions and uneasy whispers. Captain Elena Voss and her unit had emerged from the harrowing gauntlet, their numbers battered but spirits unbroken. The forest, once an enemy's trap, had become the crucible in which Elena's strategic brilliance was forged and tested. Yet beyond the immediate relief, the military hierarchy awaited her report with a mixture of anticipation and skepticism. At the command center, the sterile walls echoed with the low murmur of officers debating the outcome. Some hailed Elena's ingenuity as a masterstroke, a testament to the potency of adaptability in combat. Others, however, viewed her unorthodox tactics through a lens of caution, questioning the risks she had taken and the precedent her methods might set. Major Reynolds, a seasoned officer known for his adherence to protocol, paced thoughtfully before addressing the room. Captain Voss's actions undoubtedly saved her unit, but we must consider the implications. Deviations from established doctrine cannot become the norm. Discipline and order are what hold our forces together. Elena met his gaze steadily, her calm demeanor unwavering. With respect, Major, the battlefield is not static. Rigid adherence to doctrine without room for creativity risks more lives than it saves. The Verdant Forest operation showed that flexibility and rapid adaptation are not just advantageous, they're essential. Her words sparked murmurs throughout the room. The tension between innovation and tradition hung thick in the air. It was clear that while her victory was undeniable, the path forward was fraught with institutional resistance. In the days that followed, Elena was summoned repeatedly to brief senior officers and strategists. Each session was a crucible of scrutiny and challenge, forcing her to articulate the rationale behind every decision made under pressure. She detailed the use of terrain analysis, the division of forces, and the deliberate creation of diversions. Her explanations were precise, underscored by maps and reconnaissance data. Gradually, a shift occurred. The evidence was compelling. Elena's approach had preserved lives and achieved objectives that conventional tactics might have failed to accomplish. Discussions began to emerge within the higher echelons about the necessity of incorporating creative thinking into military training and doctrine. Recognizing her unique insight, the command entrusted Elena with a new responsibility, developing a strategic training program aimed at fostering adaptability and innovative tactics among officers and soldiers alike. It was a tacit acknowledgement of her impact and a step toward institutional change. In the training halls that followed, Elena's influence grew. She crafted curricula that emphasized reading terrain like a living map, anticipating enemy reactions, and embracing calculated risks. Her mantra, flexibility over rigidity, became a guiding principle, challenging traditional mindsets and encouraging a new breed of battlefield leaders. Her sessions were rigorous, blending theoretical frameworks with simulations drawn from real-world scenarios like the Verdant Forest operation. Soldiers and officers alike found themselves pushed beyond conventional boundaries, learning to think dynamically in the face of chaos. Yet, resistance lingered. Some instructors clung to orthodox methods, wary of the latitude Elena advocated. Debates flared about the balance between discipline and discretion, the fine line between initiative and insubordination. Elena navigated these challenges with the same composure that had defined her command in the forest, advocating that adaptability did not equate to anarchy but was a tool to enhance command effectiveness. Her work sparked broader conversations within military circles, prompting reviews of doctrine and strategy that rippled beyond her immediate sphere. The once rigid frameworks began to bend, accommodating the complexities of modern warfare where unpredictability was the only constant. Elena's reputation blossomed as a transformative leader, not just for her tactical victory but for her role in reshaping the art of warfare. Her story inspired a new generation of officers who saw in her example the power of courage and innovation to transcend traditional limitations. While the scars of the Verdant Forest engagement remained etched in memory, they served as reminders of the cost of rigidity and the necessity of evolution. Elena's journey from a solitary strategist to a catalyst for change underscored that leadership was not merely about command but about vision and the courage to redefine boundaries. In quiet moments, Elena reflected on the path that had brought her here, the risks taken, the doubts overcome, the lives saved. The forest had tested her in ways she had never imagined, revealing a truth she now carried forward, that victory in battle often belongs not to the strongest, but to the most adaptable. Her work continued, a relentless pursuit to prepare others for the uncertainties of combat. Through her efforts, the military began to embrace a new doctrine, one that valued flexibility, creativity, and decisive action in the face of chaos. Elena Voss's legacy was no longer confined to the confines of the Verdant Forest. It echoed through training grounds, command centers, and battlefields yet to come, a testament to the enduring power of strategic innovation and the unyielding spirit of leadership.